Alright, what's going on everyone? So Mark Rosewater has given us his usual teaser. We're going to go over this and we're going to predict what's in the set with basically absolute 100% accuracy, of course. So first off, we have numerous cards that mechanically care about Phyrexian. So this is basically just tribal. We're getting tribal Phyrexian support. Phyrexians have been a thing for a while, but we haven't had Phyrexians get +1/+1, or whenever a Phyrexian dies, do this. So yeah, Phyrexian's going to be a tribe. Next, we have a double face token. This is pretty self-explanatory. There's going to be a token that flips. Next, we have a card that costs X and 4 blue. So there has only been one card ever that has 4 pips and an X, and that is a Warhammer card. So we've never had a 4-color or 4-pip card with an X. We've had lots of 3. There was one recently, this right here, which is actually just in standard right now. So we've had 3 a lot, but we have not had quadruple pips on an X card, so that's interesting. Next, we have a variant of a mechanic returns to a premiere set for the first time since it originally appeared. This could be literally anything, any mechanic in history. Bear in mind that we have battles now. We have a new card type called Battle, the Battle card type. We don't know what it does. I'm curious if the Battle card type will be a variation of like a previous ability. I was thinking maybe something like Level Up, because it doesn't say it's going to return. It's a variation on the mechanic. So what if we have like leveling up battlefields or something? I don't know, but for some reason I just thought Level Up seemed interesting, though I don't know how popular this is. So I don't know, just something that I thought about, but it's hard to say. Next, we have a legendary creature returns, not seen since Homeland. So a lot of people have said that it will be Baron Sangir, and this is just incorrect because unfortunately we have had Baron Sangir right here. Technically, this wasn't a standard set, so maybe this doesn't count as being seen, because Mark's exact wording is a legendary creature returns not seen since Homeland. So surely that means this Sangir, Baron Sangir, counts. So if it's not going to be Baron Sangir, what is it going to be? Well, bear in mind that there's the entire Sangir family. There's grandmother and these two here, right? So I imagine it's going to be like one of these two probably. Next, we have a creature capable of dealing 11 poison counters. So we have this already. We have Blightsteel Colossus, which has Infect, which means if it hits you, it gives you 11 poison counters. Maybe we see a Blightsteel Colossus reprint, or a play on it where they take it and they twist it a little bit. Maybe a new Blightsteel Colossus that has Toxic instead of Infect. So either a reprint of this card or something similar. Next, we have some planes show up in card names that have never done so before. So this is kind of silly. So we're just talking about the name of the plane and the title, right? So just to give you some examples, if we do like Ixalan, we have had an Ixalan card. If we do, I don't know, Innistrad, we have had Innistrad in the name. If we do, I don't know, Ikoria, we have not had a card that has had Ikoria. So we'll have planes that just haven't been in names. Presumably this could be the battles. We could have like Battle for Ikoria, Battle for Ixalan, Battle for Ravnica, stuff like that, right? Next, we have Ren Returns with a new partner. So this is going to be related presumably to these team-up cards. If you haven't seen these, basically the idea behind these is because Phyrexia is invading these planes, unlikely legendary pairs are working together to defend their plane, right? So like Catilda and Lear are like normally not exactly friendly with each other, but I mean when Phyrexia is invading, well, now they gotta partner up. So there's these combinations of cards. We've got Slimefoot and Squee. I mean, that's a great one. We've got Thalia and the Gitrog monster. I mean, that's just fantastic. And the text of these is pretty cool. It basically combines the two creatures into one. We've got Yargle and Moltani. That's just fantastic. So if it's a partner card like that, I mean, bear in mind, Ren already does this by pairing with a tree. But if it follows the same logic, you would expect it to be a Midnight Hunt or a Midnight Hunt, an Innistrad tree folk. Specifically a legendary tree from Innistrad. So if that tracks, here's every legendary tree folk in the game, and the only one from Innistrad is this one, Kerbis. So it's possible that it's going to be Ren and Kerbis, but I don't even know who this is. I don't know if this is going to work because, like, people going to know who this is? This is a commander card. It's a Midnight Hunt commander card. So not very exciting, but I have heard from people who pay attention to the story, which I do not, that it could be actually the World Tree. This is, sure, Ren in the World Tree. There you go. Very possible, kind of extreme, but apparently this is hinted at in the story so far, and by the time this video goes up, there's going to be more of the story up. But right now, it's either going to be Kerbis or the World Tree. Those are the two guesses. Next, we have two draft archetypes that have a creature type matters component. So of course we have Phyrexians, and the best guess is going to be Rebels. And that's actually, wait a second, I just thought of that. Wait, Rebels, guys, Rebel. Guys. So Rebel, but it has, that doesn't count though. Dang. So Rebel was the mechanic in, what was it? Mercadian Masks, I think? Was that it? A long time ago. And it would make sense, right? Because, we have right here, we have Rebels with the, we have Phyrexia, and then we have the Rebellion. So it makes sense, but that wouldn't count for that, what was the phrasing again? I gotta go back. A variant of a mechanic returns to a premiere set for the first time since it originally appeared. So that wouldn't count for the Rebel mechanic because it did return in Time Spiral. Here's a perfect, this is the Rebel mechanic. Anyway, you would expect it to be Phyrexians and some sort of rebellion, rebels or allies or something to represent, the people opposing the Phyrexians, right? Next, we have the 10th blank and blank sword. So what the heck is this talking about? This is these swords. So they're the dual color swords, and we have, right here, 9 of them. We're missing one, right? So we have blue-green, black-green, blue-red, red-green, green-white, black-white, black-red, blue-red, no, white-blue, and red, white. I don't know why that was such a struggle. What color combination are we missing? Let's start with blue. So we have blue, green, blue, red, blue, white, and blue, black. That was fast. All right, yeah, so blue, black is the 2 color combination that we're missing. So we will be getting a Dimir sword, which would sound very Phyrexian, potentially a Phyrexian sword. Next, we have rules text. So this is just copy-pasted rule text. First, we have, you may cast spells with flash or flying from the top of your library. So this has become a common sort of theme, is casting stuff from the top, like Augur of Autumn, let you play lands. Conspicuous Snoop, which lets you cast goblins. Experimental Frenzy lets you cast artifacts. This card lets you cast dragons. So we're going to get something like that for, flash and flying creatures, which honestly sounds great. I loved Simic Flash. It makes me wonder if we're going to get Flash again, because why would they give us a card that lets us cast Flash stuff off the top of our library if there aren't more Flash cards, right? So it would be cool to see more Flash cards. I would love to see Flash be really good in Explorer and Pioneer, because I'm a big fan of the archetype. I still play Simic Flash, even though it's not very good. So yeah, would love to see this. Looks pretty cool. Excited for that. Next, we have an Aura God or Demigod card. So the phrasing of this is very important. If this was like a destruction effect, like destroy these, it wouldn't be worded like this. It would be like destroy target Aura God or Demigod. It wouldn't say the word card. The word card here is very telling that this is going to be either a tutor, search your library for an Aura God or Demigod card, or reveal cards off the top of your library and reveal an Aura God or Demigod card. Something like that. Aura God and Demigod definitely sounds like Theros, so potentially a Theros-themed card there. Next, we have where X is the excess damage dealt this way. So this is something that Wizards of the Coast has been playing around with recently. We have had several cards here, and you'll notice that they're all newer cards, with the exception of this one. This is something that Wizards of the Coast has been playing around a lot with over the past few years, like Agar, if you deal excess damage, you draw. Flame Spell, 4 damage. Excess damage is dealt to the creature's controller. We have Unleash the Inferno, which deals 7, and the excess damage can blow up artifacts and enchantments. Stuff like this. So what's interesting is the phrasing here, which is, where X is the excess damage dealt this way. So like, if you look at the damage, right? Deals 4 damage, excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. So my expectation is this is going to be potentially life gain. This is also when it deals excess damage, destroy target artifact or enchantment with mana value less or equal to the amount of excess damage. So yeah, I could see it being like deal damage and then excess damage, you gain that much life. You gain X life where X is the excess damage. Here's another thing though. Deal 4 damage, create a number of blood tokens. It doesn't say X blood tokens, right? It doesn't say create X blood tokens where X is equal to the excess damage. What's the exact wording? Where X is the excess damage dealt this way. Dealt this way. So it does say that, but it doesn't say create X blood tokens. It's create a number of blood tokens. So the X is weird. Maybe it's just a weird phrasing that they did with this one card. But yeah, we're going to get something along these lines. We've seen this a little bit recently. So yeah, just more deal damage and your excess damage isn't wasted, basically. Next, we have this spell can't be copied. So I looked this up and I can't find any spell that says it can't be copied. So presumably this is going to be a very powerful spell. It's going to do something big, and Wizards of the Coast just doesn't want it to get overpowered, so it has to specify that you can't copy it. Definitely curious about this one. Next, we have activate only if you've cast 2 or more spells this turn. Pretty self-explanatory here. There's just going to be a creature, an artifact, something that is going to only be able to be activated if you've cast 2 or more spells. The first thing that comes to mind to me is, something like Ledger Shredder. This doesn't need to be activated, but when someone casts their second spell, it triggers. So basically something that's going to be similar to Ledger Shredder, not in terms of its ability, but something that you can only activate when you've cast 2 spells. Next, we have each player can't cast more than 1 non-Phyrexian spell each turn. So this is just a tax spell. I would expect this to be white, like a white Phyrexian that basically says, hey, Phyrexians only, right? No non-Phyrexians. Well, you can cast 1 per turn, but no more than 1. Next, we have X twice, where X is the number of lands you control. So there are tons of things that care about lands, but the biggest one being Ren, right? Ren cares about lands. Can put any number of lands into play. She makes a tree folk token that has power and toughness equal to your land count. And I could see this X twice, where X is the number of lands, being associated with Ren. Next, whenever a permanent you control transforms, or a permanent enters the battlefield under your control transformed. So this is interesting, right? It's a payoff for transforming. So we have lots of things that transform, right? We have all the Innistrad cards, right? We have witches that transform into curses. We have humans that transform into insect horrors. We have werewolves. We have vampires that flip now. We have artifacts that flip. We have these new sagas that flip, right? Transforming. Anything that flips is transforming. Like these sagas do say transformed, so this would count as a transformation. Currently, I am finding 178 cards that have the word transform in them. So yeah, basically we have so many transform cards now that we're going to have a payoff for things that either transform or interesting, entering the battlefield transform. So that would indicate the werewolves, right? The werewolves, if it's night, they enter transformed automatically, and that would trigger whatever this is. So it's interesting. Basically, transformation gets a payoff. Next, we have if the opponent protects it, remove a defense counter. I definitely think this has to do with a new card type, the battles. I'm imagining battles being similar to like planeswalkers. Basically like think of a planeswalker, right? You put it on the battlefield, and then while that's there, you and the opponent basically have to like fight over it, right? Like you get all this value activating the abilities, and your opponent has to attack into it. So what if battles are similar? Like I play a battle for Innistrad, and then I get an effect from it, but the opponent can basically like attack into it and reduce its life, or in this case, its defense counters. So yeah, I don't know. I could see this being related to whatever these battle cards are. Next, we have at the beginning of your upkeep, if you haven't been dealt combat damage since your last turn, draw a card and lose 1 life. So this is definitely a control card. Whatever this card is, you're going to be mostly concerned about locking down the opponent and not letting them attack you, so you can draw cards. So next we have creature types. So of course we have tons of Phyrexians. Bear, Rhino, I guess that could be Ikoria. Devil would be Innistrad. Dog Warrior, I actually looked this up. So Dog Warrior would actually be Khans of Tarkir. This is also a Tarkir card. As you see, Dramoka mentioned here on the flavor text, even though this is a Battle Bond card. Oh no, it was in Dragons of Tarkir. So there you go. Yeah, so Dog Warriors, they were technically hounds on release, but they're considered dogs now, as you see here. So this is Phyrexianized Khans of Tarkir stuff. Jackals would be Amonkhet. Samurai, of course. Kamigawa. Shades could be anywhere, although could be homelands, notably. Shark could be anywhere. Tree Folk. Viashino would be mostly Dominaria. Weirds are common on Ravnica. And then we have the resistance, I guess, the non-Phyrexians. We've got Moonfolk Ninja. That makes sense, Kamigawa. Aetherborn Vampires, that would be Kaladesh, which did have Aetherborn Vampire. Fungus Rabbit, sounds very Dominarian. Dwarf Pilot, that would be probably Kaladesh or Dominaria. Raccoon Warrior sounds kind of Kamigawa-ish. Have we had raccoons? We haven't. We've never had a raccoon. Wait, huh? Raccoon? Oh, interesting. There is not a raccoon. Yeah, there's no raccoons. Okay, that's new. Goblin Spellshaper. That's definitely an Izzet card, right? For sure. Wolverine Dinosaur. Notably, note that Wolverines are different than, like, wolves and werewolves, right? So, I mean, barely different, but technically different. Then we have legendary creatures. Elder Giant Dog. A giant dog. That's an elder. I don't know. Ape Dinosaur Turtle definitely sounds Icorian for sure. And Cyclops Homunculus definitely sounds like Ravnica. Possibly. But yeah, some interesting stuff here. Previews start March 29th. So we'll see how accurate my predictions are. It looks like a wild set. I'm very curious about battles and what this stuff is right here. I imagine this is battle related. I wonder if they transform, and I wonder if these two things are related. Who the heck knows? But anyway, we'll find out soon. Let me know what you think about all of this. Is there something very obvious that I'm missing? The answer is absolutely probably. But yeah, thanks for watching regardless. And I will see you in the next one.